What's up, guys? This is Helium Lemon 15, and welcome to a new Let's Play. What is this? This is a little indie game called And Yet It Moves that I'd like to just show you around. Give you a nice little guided tour because there's not too many Let's Plays of this game on YouTube. And this game is awesome. This is, I'd say, definitely in one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. I don't know. I don't know if it's in my top 5 just because I haven't thought about my top 5 in a while. Maybe I should do a video about my top 5 favorite games. That would be interesting. But, yeah, today is September 29th. It's a Friday. It's getting down to the end of September, and I'm just kind of figuring out school and everything. It's about to get busy, and I'm not exactly excited, but I think I'll still have plenty of time to figure out stuff and do my own thing. So let me tell you guys a little bit about this game. It's originally made for Steam, and then they adapted it for Wii. I discovered it through playing a demo. Through playing a demo off of the Wii Shop channel. And the Wii Shop channel is like the WiiWare section. It's just a great place if you want to sample little indie games. Like I sampled Fluidity, I sampled Cave Story, I sampled a bunch of random games that I can't remember. I think one of them was like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, about like where you're the villain in a Final Fantasy game and you build towers. A lot of stuff I can't remember, but it was all very good times. Some game called Light, but with 2 eyes, where you like... It was like music puzzles, but like with light projectors. And this game is, it's made by a bunch of college kids from the Vienna Institute of Technology. And I think that's so cool that a bunch of college kids came together and made this game. There's still a company making a lot of popular games. They're called Broken Rules. So, yep, if you want to look up other stuff besides And Yet It Moves... look up Broken Rules. And Yet It Moves, I looked it up on Wikipedia. It's named after the famous last words of Galileo. And that's kind of funny that not a lot of people know the last words of Galileo. But he, were they the last words or some of the last words? He stomped on the earth and he was like, and yet it moves. Yeah. And it's yeah, it's pretty fitting for this game, don't you think? This is kind of a puzzle platformer type thing, except the gimmick is you can rotate the world and you can solve puzzles by rotating the world, and there's all kinds of crazy weird stuff that you can do once we get into the later levels with rotating the world. And this yeah, the game doesn't look that appealing so far because of like kind of the bland, boring cave aesthetic. Just be aware that the game picks up. The game really picks up, like adds a lot of crazy things like in the later levels, and it's visually gets a lot crazier too. And I really like the aesthetic. It's all made of like paper and collage. And because everything's made of paper, when you die in this game, you don't actually die, you rip. And it makes kind of a funny sound when you rip. Zotch! When I was very first playing the demo, I don't remember how old I was. I was in like middle school, but I thought that was the funniest death noise that I had ever heard. And I imagined it, it's kind of like Zotch. But, like, I just imagine it as the word ouch with, like, a Z in front. So I just imagined a guy saying zouch every time I died. And I kept saying zouchy. And I thought it was really funny. Now thinking back on it, it's not as funny. But I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Yeah, the way I discovered this game... was I was watching Nintendo Capri Sun play Super Castlevania 4, and he was talking about like some issue of Nintendo Power, where they were. He's playing the level in Super Castlevania 4 where there's a similar concept. There's you can use your whip to rotate the room like 90 degrees at a time, and that's how you progress. And that's a really crazy, advanced, and cool idea for a level. It's almost like the Stone Tower Temple in Majora's Mask. Kind of I don't know, a little bit more intense that you're turning it on its side and not always just flipping it top to bottom each time. There's a game that I want to let's play at some point, Majora's Mask. But yeah, he was mentioning this game and how like the mechanics of like rotating it, and he said that it was called And Yet It Moves, and I was like, oh yeah, I've browsed the WiiWare demos enough times that I've heard that name before. Then I finally tried out the demo and I was like, darn, this is super cool. I need to get this game. So yeah, this is one of the weirdest but coolest games I've ever played, and I need to play a lot more indie games. So that's a L. Come on, boy. Make me land on a downward slope if you want me to survive. That's a L. Come on. Land on the triangular slopey part. See? It is possible to do that. Oh, did I say I think this level looks like Eric Carle? If anybody remembers the Eric Carle books, like the Very Hungry Caterpillar, there's one about like a brown bear or something. Yeah, that's what this level looks like to me. It looks like some very nice Eric Carle textures. Speaking of people and like artists and like authors that I used to love when I was a kid, whatever happened to John Sieska? Is he still doing books? John Sieska, gosh, what did he do? Did like the Stinky Cheese Man or whatever. It was like a book of like parody fairy tales. And I like how I died from that. This game has very interesting physics because it's a rotation-based game. And I was thinking a lot about physics when I played this. Anyway, I was thinking of John Sieska did the books about the Time Warp Trio, and my friend from elementary school and I used to think that show was really cool, although he watched it a lot more than I did. Probably because I didn't know or I didn't have whatever TV channel it was on. No, I think I did. I don't remember. I've never been a big TV watcher. Yeah. I had a weird physics teacher in, 11th grade. He was just a really, like, odd guy. And, he could not, like, handle a high school class. Like, we would never pay attention to him. And he was just, like, a very weird guy. But anyway. I don't have any stories, like great stories at the moment to tell about him. I'd rather get one of my friends to tell stories about him. I don't know. It's just a thing. Best moments of his class were where we just like watched Carl Sagan or like Michio Kaku videos. He was just kind of bad at explaining things. Basically taught, like, the textbook was a better teacher than he was. He's just a really goofy guy. Rocks. This level has rocks in it. See, we take these rocks and we take them to the Home Depot. And then from there they encounter a stimulating conversation with whoever is at Home Depot. Probably my friend Nathan from Montana. And then, because they're rocks, you know, they go and listen to some rock music, like the Ramones or something. I don't know. Who's a good rock band? Dream Theater? I need to be educated on rock music. I love Kansas. I think I like ELP. I've not listened to them as much as I should, but I really think I like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I've only heard one song by Yes, and it's Roundabout, of course, because that's a song that everybody knows. Like, I should listen to a little bit more Yes. I love, love, love the Beatles. Always will. Beatles, I got, like, super into the Beatles in, like, 6th grade. And just will always have, like, a lot of Beatles nostalgia towards that. Yeah, just, like, anything from, like, Help and, like, Sgt. Pepper onward. Especially White Album. White Album is probably my favorite. White Album is weird and, like, a lot of short songs and in, like, 20 million different styles / musical genres. Because that's what you call different styles of music. Musical genres. Ellen DeGeneres. Speaking of music, oh yeah, because of this game, I actually wrote because I'm a music composer, and I actually wrote an email to Broken Rules, telling them how much I loved this game, and how I would love to be like write soundtracks for them. And I actually got a response. They were like, "Oh, thanks. It's fan mail like this that keeps us going." And unfortunately, we're not looking for any composers or musicians at this point. But like, you know, we'll hit you up when we got something. Of course, that was like 5 years ago. I doubt that they actually will. But like, that's really cool that I got an email back from the guys at Broken Rules. Anyway, the soundtrack of this game was all done by Christoph Binder, the sound designer, and it's apparently all a cappella, like noises he made with his mouth, which is weird because some of the noises sound more like electric guitar or something. Anyway, I think I'll see you in the next part. So, thanks for watching. Goodbye.